Oh, you thought Chrissy and Jim were finally in a place, but you were mistaken. What just came out? Going to rock the entire world of hip-hop and love. And I assure you that you are not prepared for this. Chrissy Lampkin has been caught, and not just with anyone. Jim Jones is going crazy right now. And let's not forget about Chrissy Lampkin. And Jim had been together for more than 10 years. They've been through everything together. Chrissy has been having an affair behind Jim Jones's back. And the receipts are not pretty, honey. This is the part that has everyone talking. The man Chrissy was caught with isn't just any random person. He's someone close to Jim. And when Jim finds out, it's going to get very rapid. There has been adultery, scandals, financial issues, even the proposal drama. And now this. Oh honey, the aftermath was explosive. Stay focused, because the controversy that is going to happen will exceed the combined size of the past 5 seasons of Love Hip Hop. When you find out who Chrissy was caught with, you'll need to take a minute to relax, because people who have observed Chrissy and Jim Jones's stormy relationship throughout the years are aware that they have Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones, who have been together for over 16 years, have had their fair share of turmoil. Years, which is virtually a lifetime, and hung over their relationship. Let's remember that Chrissy asked Jim to marry her on national television, and he accepted. However, years passed, and Jim Chrissy remained, but the resentment developed over time. Then there is Jim, who has never been loyal. Let's face it, Jim has been involved in more infidelity rumors than we, including late-night hangouts with DMS's dubious female acquaintances in the studio, and those enigmatic business trips that coincided with Instagram. During this infidelity incident, when it first appeared on blogs, many people assumed it was just another Jim Jones case. But this time, Chrissy stayed by Jim's side, despite all of the financial scandals, suspicions of adultery, and Jim's supposed financial issues. According to those close to the case, Chrissy was the one who was sneaking this time, and not Jim, whom she has been seeing another man for months, and the proof is incredibly solid. It all began around 3 months ago, when Chrissy was photographed visiting a nice hotel in Miami without GI. People found it strange. But let's face it, Chrissy's solo excursions aren't all that rare. But after the images began to make the rounds, it was alleged that Chrissy was seen alongside a pool, with many sources mention a man sitting close to her, laughing, drinking, and enjoying himself. Verified that Chrissy was not simply hanging out with this man, but rather they were touching hands and drinking drinks, reportedly disappearing into a secluded spot. At first, everyone thought it would just be an innocent hangout. But then as real receipts began to arrive, you had no idea that Chrissy and this mysterious man were supposedly exchanging flirty texting for weeks. We're talking about emojis late at night, and I miss Cabana. According to insiders, the screenshots were then leaked together, and these messages are sensational because the visuals left nothing to the imagination. But Jim lost it when he learned, oh honey, it appears that someone in Jim's entourage received the screenshots and emailed them. Jim was allegedly sitting at home when the messages arrived. And as soon as he saw them, he picked up the phone and started contacting Chrissy non-stop. When she didn't answer, Jim went right to Miami to face her. Yes, you read that accurately. Jim boarded an aircraft and arrived at the supposedly knocked on the door of the hotel where Chrissy was staying. When Chrissy opened it, let us take a moment to appreciate how ludicrous this situation is. Jim has been caught lurking countless times, but Chrissy has always forgiven him. Caught. It's ready to shatter the entire relationship, but it becomes much messier when Chrissy opened the door, Jim not only saw her sitting by her cell, but the man she had been spotted with was also there. According to sources, Jim confronted Chrissy and the mysterious man and informed you that things nearly got. Jim allegedly began berating Chrissy, calling her a cheater, prompting security to be called. Chrissy, a liar, did not refute it, as multiple sources have verified. That she said, "Jim, you did it to me for years, you know, how it feels." Jim, according to insiders, was not prepared for that level of disdain. Jim attempted to pursue, but Chrissy stood there, appearing nonchalant, while security intervened before things went violent. While the entire thing played out, the true question, I don't know about you, but this problem hits a whole new level. Who is this mystery man? From what I've heard, he's not just any random guy, according to reports. Yes, the man Chrissy was spotted with is apparently one of Jim's business acquaintances. Because if this man is related to Jim's business, this might become more than simply a romance scandal. Legal issue. Jim O is already meeting with his lawyers, and insiders indicate that Jim wishes to discontinue his association with this business partner straight away, even if it means losing money. However, this is the bit that will blow your mind. It turns out that Chrissy and this man were spotted together before. No, there are pictures of them hanging together that were taken months ago, and from what I've heard, Moses has those photos. Maisie is expected to unveil the biggest scandal in the history of love and hip-hop. Stay tuned, because in Chapter 2, we'll find the name of this mysterious man and what he and Chrissy share. Been concealing, and Jim is scheming retribution. And believe me, you are not prepared for what is going to happen all. Let's get to the dirty part, because this story is becoming more than just a cheating scandal. Jim Jones has become a national embarrassment, and the internet is shaming him. For filth, I had just confronted Chrissy and her mystery boyfriend at the Miami hotel when I told you that things swiftly went out. Of Jim lost his cool when he saw Chrissy standing, and according to multiple sources, it nearly went violent. Security had to intervene and forcibly separate Jim and this man, whom he believed to be his friend, allegedly said, "You're dead to me," at the man Chrissy, but Chrissy stood Jim approach the man with her arms crossed. And when he didn't back down, the internet was ablaze with rumors about the identity of the mystery man when Jim was carried out of hotel, and when the reality was revealed, it was worse than anybody could have imagined. It turns out that the man Chrissy was discovered with is none other than Freddie G. Jim's longtime business partner and one of his closest friends. Freddie isn't just any old guy. He's been a member of Jim's inner circle for years and has been seen at Jim's house. Chrissy not only betrayed Jim during family vacations and at the studio, but she did so with the worst aspect is that the individual had direct access to their business and their money, which is where things get deadly. Freddie is not only Jim's business partner, but he is also reputedly one of the main investors in Jim and Chrissy's real estate ventures. Jim has already initiated the process of dissolving his business association with Freddie. But it's not that, because Freddie appears to be one of the key sponsors of a multi-million-dollar real estate. Jim is not only devastated, but also according to the estate contract Jim and Chrissy had. Insiders responded when it was found that Chrissy was having an affair with his business colleague. Twitter went off. Let me share some of the greatest responses. Chrissy certainly pulled a Jim on Jim. The irony is that after years of infidelity, according to persons familiar with the topic, it's extremely comfy. I don't mean standing next to another. Oh, it's a member of the Love and Hip Hop cast. This wasn't just any leak someone in their group. They purposely filmed it and have been holding on to it for weeks. waiting for the ideal time to leak it. From what I've heard, Moses is aware of the exact identifier of the person who recorded it. However, Jim will never be able to. The bizarre part is that if Chrissy hadn't tried to deny the affair, the video might not have even. Chrissy went live on Instagram after the original reports surfaced and stated, "I don't know why people." When video evidence was available, Casey truly believed she could gaslight the entire internet. And Jim was furious when he saw that video. According to insiders, Jim texted Chrissy instantly. She went live and said, "Don't believe the rumors, girl. Me and Jim are solid." The worst part is that Chrissy didn't even attempt to dispute it in private. Instead, she answered, "I told you. You've been embarrassing me for years, so you understand how I feel." In other, Chrissy basically admitted that she was doing this as retaliation for Jim's previous infidelity. According to rumors, Jim is planning to go full petty, including financially blocking Chrissy out, owns several of their joint business accounts, and he is already working on this, Chrissy. But it is not about this. According to sources, Chrissy is going down without a fight, and if Jim attempts to cut her off financially, she plans to sue. Yes, you read that right. She has already sued him for both financial and emotional damages. They have hired a lawyer to make this disaster into a narrative, and hip-hop producers are already working to acquire Chrissy. Jim is thinking about sitting down and discussing it on camera, but only if Chrissy comes clean. If that happens, this will be the most watched episode of Love and Hip Hop Honey. The actual question, however, stay tuned to see if Jim will forgive Chrissy, or if this is the final straw in their relationship. 3 will examine the consequences, legal turmoil, financial war, and footage that could permanently damage Jim's career. And I guarantee you that you are not prepared for it all. So let's go on to the messy part. Since this narrative is more than just a cheating scandal, no, it's becoming a public humiliation for Jim Jones. And the internet is dragging. Let's pick up where we left off, with Jim confronting Chrissy. And Jim lost it when he saw Chrissy standing there, with this man whom he assumed to be his buddy. Jim walked toward the man. And when I tell you that things quickly escalated, oh baby, it almost went violent. According to several sources, they refused to back down, and it nearly ended there in the corridor. Security had to intervene and physically separate them, but not before Jim allegedly exclaimed, "You're dead to me," at Chrissy, who stood there with her arms crossed and showed no symptoms of disturbing him. This is where things become nasty. After Jim was carried out of the hotel, the internet erupted with speculation regarding the identity of the mystery man. The truth was exposed, and it was worse than anyone could have anticipated. The man Chrissy was caught with is really Freddie G. Jim's long-term business partner, and one of his closest buddies. Yes, you read that right. Freddie has been a member of Jim's inner circle for years. He has been with Jim and Chrissy on family vacations, in the studio with Jim, and even at Jim's house. But here's the thing. Freddie isn't just Jim's business partner. He's reported to have been a substantial investment in Jim and Chrissy's real estate projects. As a result, not only did Chrissy deceive Jim, but she did so with a man who had direct access to their money. Business is where things go dangerously wrong. Since Jim isn't just heartbroken, he's furious. According to insiders, Jim has already initiated the process of severing his business ties with Freddie, was a big investor in a multi-million-dollar real estate transaction that Jim and Chrissy had been working on. Yes, money is involved in this problem, and Jim may lose everything if he attempts to end his relationship with Freddie. Let's discuss how the internet responded when it was revealed that Chrissy was having an affair with Jim's business partner. Twitter went berserk, and I will share some of the greatest reactions with you. poetic justice Jim Jones's sobs over Chrissy's adultery are amusing given that he has been after her for 10 years. Karma is a horrible, and Chrissy just delivered it with a bow. But it's hilarious. Chrissy really pulled a trick on Jim. Not only were fans becoming unruly, but celebrities began to weigh in. One Love and Hip Hop star, as you may already be aware, submitted a questionable remark under a blog post about the issue that read, "See, this is why you don't play. Karma always finds its way back to a woman's heart." Yandy Smith also had something to say, and you are already aware that Yandy and Chrissy have a complicated past. According to sources, Yandy said on Instagram Live, "Maybe Jim can understand how it feels to be on the other hand, if you feel Jim took offense, you don't know Jim, because Jim allegedly contacted Yandy shortly after." That was the remark. To put it gently, the talk wasn't cordial, but this is where things move from messy to downright scandalous, because it appears that Maisie has additional receipts. Yes, you thought the DMs were bad, but according to those with knowledge of the subject, the video is worse. There's a video of Chrissy with Freddie, with Chrissy sitting on Freddie's lap and giggling and growing very comfy, the member of the Love and Hip Hop ensemble. When I say together, I don't standing next to one other. It wasn't a random leak, but someone in their circle purposely, they filmed it and have been keeping it for weeks, waiting for the proper time to disclose it. From what I understand, Maisie knows exactly who did it, and he supposedly approached the person who did it, telling them that Jim would never recover. And here's the odd part. If Chrissy hadn't attempted to deny the affair on the video, it might not have even leaked yet. Chrissy supposedly went live Instagram after the initial report broke, saying, "Why are people constantly in my business?" Adding, "Jim and I don't trust the rumors." Chrissy, she honestly imagined she could gaslight the entire internet with video evidence that was accessible, and Jim was outraged. According to insiders, Jimmy texted Chrissy just after she went live, urging her to quit lying, knowing she had done, but the worst was still to come. Chrissy reportedly responded, "Two told you that you'd been embarrassing me for years later. You know how it feels to be without," even attempting to refute it privately. In other terms, Chrissy acknowledged that she was doing this revenge for Jim's prior infidelity, and Jim is apparently out. Jim is said to be looking for blood, prepare to go all petty, which includes Jim financially cut off Chrissy several of their cooperative ventures accounts, and Chrissy isn't going down without a fight, according to sources. Chrissy has already engaged an attorney. She plans to sue Jim for emotional, if he attempts to cause injury, and monetary damages, cut her off financially. You read, Chrissy is coming to Jim's bag, and the most unusual aspect is that the Love and Hip Hop producers, already trying to get Chrissy Jim, will sit down and discuss this on camera. They want to transform this mess into a plot. Jim is considering it, however, only if Chrissy comes clean on camera. Will this be the most popular episode of Is Love and Hip Hop? Always the real question. But will Jim forgive Chrissy? This is the last nail in the coffin. Relationship, pay attention, because in part 3, we will entering the aftermath of the financial war, the legal drama, and the video, the possibility of ruining G's career. For believe me, you are unprepared for what happens next.